So first up, we're going to have TwentyTwo, the world's first mobile native hardware signing device. Got to get that right. All right, guys, you're up.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Alekos. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TwentyTwo. We're a company that specializes in building hardware devices for Bitcoin. This presentation is mostly going to be about our first and only product at the moment, which is called Portal, which is an hardware wallet or hardware signer. But towards the end, I'm also going to speak a little bit about the more like long-term vision we have for the company and what like other product we would like to offer in the future. I cannot see the timer, by the way. I don't know if there's supposed to be one, but it's OK. I'm going to start with the why. So why Portal exists. OK, now we have a timer. Why Portal exists in the first place. And the reason is that we feel like Bitcoin custody is very hard, but essential. If we really want to hyper-Bitcoinize the world, we need people to start custodying their own coins. And now, as a user, you're facing like three options. You're faced with three options if you want to custody your Bitcoin, which is either you give your coins to some third party and you accept the counterparty risk of having somebody else custody your coins, or you start with a software wallet. And that's doable, but it tends to make people pretty paranoid because the line between what's safe and unsafe in software is very blurry. It's just I've seen people have like a dedicated phone that they keep in a safe because they don't know, like maybe I'll install this new app and I'm going to get screwed. So it makes people very insecure about custodying their Bitcoin. And in my opinion, the best solution is hardware, because hardware is a physical device. It kind of makes Bitcoin tangible. So you have this thing in your hand, and you're like, OK, I'm going to keep this safe. I'm going to keep this somewhere safe, and I'm going to be fine. The problem is the existing hardware wallets are very difficult to use. So they're kind of targeted towards more technical people. I feel like it's like sending an email in the 90s. So it's something that, yeah, it can be done. Yeah, it works, but it's still pretty technical. And we think we have a solution for this. Our solution is, first of all, let's focus on the mobile market, because that's where non-technical people are. So my mother and even younger people nowadays, they just have a smartphone. They tend to use that for everything. So we really worked hard to make a product that's specifically designed, specifically optimized for that kind of use case. And the other thing is more on the software side. We made a very simple kind of UX flow. So we guide the user through the signing process. We don't really have menus or sub-menus that you need to navigate, which are always confusing and scary for people. And I'm going to start with a video, because I could be talking about the product and how it works for a long time, but I think a video is going to really convey the message. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so this is kind of the signing flow. You just have this device, which is called Portal again. Just tap it to your phone. It connects instantly because we use NFC, so there's no pairing like Bluetooth or anything like that. It powers on instantly, and it's also powered by NFC. So that's one kind of cool innovation we made. We don't have cables or batteries. You don't need to charge the device. You just tap it to your phone, and it powers on. And while there are other NFC devices on the market, ours is the only one that has a display and a physical button. So you see on the display, you see the transaction, and you can confirm it by physically pressing the button. And it's also fully open source. So we have on GitHub our software, our hardware. Everything is available for transparency. We also have people already kind of hacking on it, which is really nice. And this is what the product looks like. This is like the shape it has. And I'm going to be happy to show it later if you're curious. Come speak with me. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the business model, which is maybe it's obvious. We have hardware, we sell hardware, but we do have like two separate kind of channels. The first one is B2C, so we work with existing apps, existing wallets. We go to them and we say, integrate our wallet. We've made a library that makes it very, very easy to do the integration. We can also do most of the work if it's an open source app. We can also talk about revenue sharing for these apps, so they are kind of incentivized to push the wallet in their own app. And our estimate, which is very rough estimate, but very rough number, we feel like there's potentially 20 million users in this kind of market. So people using mobile apps to custody Bitcoin that could be onboarded on our device. And secondly, the other potential revenue model avenue is speaking with companies that make apps. So some examples would be Unchained Capital or Swan, or these kind of apps that they already offer a mobile product to their customers, and we can work with them and we can provide a customized product for them. And they can offer this as, I don't know, like a welcome package or something like that for their own customers. Again, rough estimates, we feel like it's 5 million users. Obviously, there's a huge gap. There's many, many more Bitcoin users in the world. Unfortunately, most of these are using centralized exchanges to custody their coins. So we hope that this is the numbers we have today. We hope that with an easy-to-use product, we're going to be able to kind of move some of these people out of exchanges and into the world of self-custody. And speaking of competitors, so how do we compare with the others? I feel like we have a pretty unique product because we have the same security model as the traditional, let's say, hardware wallets, so Ledger, Jade, Coldcard, whatever. But at the same time, we are mobile native, NFC native as BitKey, for example, which is the one from Square, or TapSigner. But the key thing is that we kind of combine both. So I feel like we are kind of the best of both worlds, and that makes us pretty unique compared to the others. Speaking of roadmap, so we announced the product in Madeira at Bitcoin Atlantis, so this was beginning of March. We've opened for pre-orders, so people can go to our website today, since March, and they can buy the product, pay full price, and we're going to deliver it later. We promised Q3, and we are on target to deliver. We're probably going to start shipping like mid-July to August, so we are on target with that. And since then, we've got around 250 pre-orders, so 250 units sold, with effectively zero marketing because we didn't really have any campaign or anything yet. So Q1 was that. Q2, so now we've been working with a bunch of wallets to integrate the device. We have pretty long list, so it looks like the first one to come out is going to be Nunchuck, but we also have Green also agreed to do the integration. We have Vault, the latest one announced, Keeper, Bull Bitcoin, Seed Signer, Sat Signer, I don't remember. So we have a bunch of wallets that we're working with to do the integration, and some of those are already happening. Q3, we're going to ship the device. The idea for Q4 is we would like to raise capital because we want to start development of V2, which is the next version of this. We have a bunch of ideas that we want to kind of iterate on and develop, but also potentially other products. So the long-term vision for the company is to build hardware products for Bitcoin. Now, on-chain, we feel like is the main avenue. Like people need on-chain, but as the market kind of evolves and we see maybe more adoption of Lightning, even for larger amounts, or more adoption of eCash or Fedimint or whatever, we can also work on hardware products for those other kind of layers, let's say. And potentially we could also move into the software as well. So close the loop, we release a device, we release the app that works really well with the device. That's more like long-term, 2030 kind of thing, so very way down the line. So since the announcement, we've had pretty good feedback. I posted this tweet that went kind of viral, at least for Bitcoin Twitter numbers. And we got really good feedback, really good comments, even from competitors. This is MBK, a bunch of other people. So I think we really kind of hit a good spot with something new and different. And I feel like we've peaked with this. So Jack posting on Nostr about us, saying cool. That made us very, very proud. I'm going to finish with the team. So the team is just 2 people. It's me and John. I'm the CEO and also do engineering. John does business development, so he talks to people, manages the partnerships, etc. We also have a bunch of advisors that are advising us, so they are very helpful for us. They bring a lot of experience because we're both pretty young. So Giacomo, Steven, Lawrence. AL2 Tech is a small electronic company in Italy that are advising us on the electronic side of things, so on the hardware side of things. And this is it. So thank you so much for the attention. Yeah. And we can take questions now.
All right. Any questions from the jury? Now is your time.
Thank you for that. That was great. Where geographically do you produce the devices, and are there any limits on how much you can produce volume-wise?
So right now, first batch is being made in China, but I mean, the boards are being made in China, and then we bring them to Italy. We're based in Italy, by the way. So we bring them to Italy, and we flash them ourselves. So we control the last step of the process, which is flash the firmware, put it in the case, put it in the box. We have like a tamper-proof bag. So all of that, we do it ourselves to really control it. The plan is, as soon as we scale up a little bit, so maybe when we start dealing with 1,000 pieces, batches, we can move the production as well to Italy, because we're going to have more quality. We have pretty good margins, so paying 50 cents more for a board doesn't really hurt us, and I feel like we gain a lot in terms of quality and kind of trust. So long term, but not even that long. Like in a few months, we hope to have pretty much everything made in Italy. We assemble it ourselves, and we control the process ourselves.
So I guess talk a little bit about the customer and how you're thinking about selling into it in the current stage that you're in, and who that primary demographic is, and for the differentiation that you described versus how they may be perceiving it.
Yeah, so I guess the target is obviously people that know a little bit about Bitcoin. So we're not targeting people that don't know anything about Bitcoin, that just want to invest or make money. So it's maybe people that have spent a little bit of time kind of understanding Bitcoin, and they're like, okay, I'm buying a little bit on some exchange. I want to start self-custodying, but I need something easy to do that. So that's kind of our target. I've seen this many times at Bitcoin meetups. So people that they're not technical. They're like plumbers or whatever. They come to a Bitcoin meetup and they're scared. They want to buy Bitcoin. They want to store Bitcoin, but they're scared about doing it. So that's kind of our target. So people that they have a smartphone, know how to use a smartphone, and understand the importance of self-custody. That's kind of key. But yeah, I think many people fall into the category, as well as young people that they only have a smartphone, or older people that only have a smartphone. So my mother doesn't have a laptop. My mother only has a smartphone. She understands Bitcoin a little bit, and this would be like perfect for her if she wants to custody her Bitcoin herself.
You've already sold 250 units.
250. Yeah.
Do you have a target for this first version, and how many units you want to be selling?
Do you have, sorry?
Like a target for how many units in the V1?
That's a good question. We have pretty low targets. So in our kind of estimate, we were feeling like maybe 10,000 or 20,000 over a couple of years. We know this is like a very niche product right now, kind of small, but this is going to let us learn a lot. So this is why in the pitch I was talking a lot about raising to develop V2, because V2 is the one we feel like is going to be, we sell millions of those. So V1 is, we start getting our hands dirty, we get in the market, we get feedback, we see what works, what doesn't, we see what people like, what, all these kind of things, and then we can carry all of this into V2. V1 was also developed by myself alone in my free time, so it's not perfect, it can definitely be improved a lot. So all of that should go into V2. So V1 is almost like a public beta kind of thing. We feel like the product is more than beta quality, so this is why we're releasing it. But for us, it's kind of a beta. It's just learning, and then we carry that into V2 and the other products later on.
And how do you plan on getting that customer feedback in V1?
I feel like, so since it's going to be kind of a niche, smaller product, we just kind of go into Bitcoin meetups. We're just showing it to people. We see people playing with it. So it's we don't have like surveys or anything, at least not now. Maybe we'll work on that later. But for now, it's just putting it in the hands of people. So like yesterday, we did a workshop at the DevHack Day, and we literally gave our kind of prototype units to people in the audience, and we were like, just play with it, use it. Let's see what works, what doesn't. So that's the idea, just kind of get the feeling. Also, I don't know, like from Bitcoin Twitter, you can get a feeling of what works, what doesn't. And then we can kind of incorporate that into the next products.
Do you require mobile wallets to integrate specifically with you, or do they just need to have NFC support?
Yeah, so they need to integrate with us. So we have our own protocol, which is open, by the way. So if other devices want to use it, they can do it. But we are the first to kind of we've designed this protocol to communicate with the wallet, to receive the transaction and send it back, because we have encryption, we have lots of complexities. To make it easy, as I mentioned, we have a library. So all the logic is managed in our library. So for the app integrating it, it's like 15 lines of code. So it's like very, very easy. They just take our library and it does everything. So yeah, we just try to help them as much as possible, obviously, because it's in our interest to get as many integrations as possible.
And I think you mentioned already you have pretty healthy margins. Could you just flesh that out a bit in terms of what the price point is, how you even decided on that, and how that might change? So
it could change, obviously. This is like super early, so anything can change. Right now, we are selling it for 89 euros, which is, I don't know, 95 bucks, something around that. And it costs us to produce 20-something euros. So obviously, a scale is going to go down a lot. So already now, we have pretty good margins at smaller scales. So now we're working with 500 pieces batches. As we start scaling up, it's going to get even better. Yeah.
And how does that price point compare against your direct competition?
How the margin compares to our competition? Did I get it right? I didn't get, sorry.
Your direct competition, how does this price point compare against them?
Oh, yeah. So we are almost on the cheapest side. So I think the only cheaper hardware device is Jade, and maybe the very old Trezor, the Model 1, which I think is discontinued now. So we are on the cheaper side compared to, I don't know, Ledgers, and especially compared to the devices that work on mobile. So for example, Ledger has the Nano S, I think, which is, I think, same price point as us, but it doesn't work on mobile. You need the Nano X, which is Bluetooth, and Bluetooth also has other issues. But so if you want to have something on mobile, I think we are on the cheaper side, except for Jade, which is even cheaper than us, but kind of close to us. Jade is 70 euros, I think. We are 89.
All right. Any other questions from the jury? We're all good. Thank you, 22 and the Portal.